let's talk about color. How to choose the colors for your pattern designs and other projects as well.
Is there something on my face?
Better. So I love colors. I love being surrounded by them. I love to paint and design with them. Usually every project I do, if it's a painting, a pattern, an illustration, a photograph, I usually get complimented on the colors. And with this video, I want you to learn how to love color too and use them for your own advantage.
When talking about design, I would say color is the #1 reason something is either loved or hated. Look around wherever you are. Maybe you're in your own home or you're in a cafe. Look at the interior design. Look at the clothing style of yourself and people around you. You can probably spot some color schemes there, either chosen deliberately or subconsciously. For example, I'm always drawn to red without really thinking about it. If you're working with a pattern, I would recommend doing 2 to 3 color variations right from the start to fully take advantage of the design. And if the pattern ends up being a huge success, you can always add more color variations later. Finnish design house Marimekko is famous for its Unikko pattern created in the 60s. They've used the pattern everywhere, like everywhere. It was even featured as a tablecloth in the Sex and the City TV series. That's pattern goals right there. They are still making new color combinations of the pattern for almost every season, and somehow they've been able to keep it fresh. They really know how to work with color. I will link this free Marimekko ebooklet below to the description if you want to look at it closer. So with colors, from where to start? I always work in RGB color mode in computer and turn it into smooth only if and when it's needed. When I studied fashion design, my professor said that each product should have 3 color options. They should have cold colors, which can be, for example, blue, green, and turquoise, warm colors, red, yellow, and orange, and neutral colors, white, black, gray, or beige. If you look at these 3 mood boards, it's likely that you are drawn to one of these color groups more than others. But your ideal customer might be drawn to the other group. Comment below by liking the comment on the color scheme, which is your fave, so we can make a test which one is liked the most by you guys who are watching this video. Other good way to make variety on your color scheme is to think light versus dark, or complementary colors, green to red, blue to orange, yellow to violet. You want to make sure your color variations are so different that the design won't compete with each other, but instead that there is this just perfect choice, complementary balance for different customers. So now you have an idea of making different variations, but which shades? Where to go from here? Pinterest is a treasure box I use when picking out nice color combinations. I have a board in my Pinterest account dedicated to inspiring color palettes. Feel free to start from there, or even better, create your own inspiration board. What I do is that I go to Pinterest, I search green color palette, for example, and it shows me great options to work with. Then I save the image or take a screenshot and bring it to Photoshop. I use the eyedropper tool to get the shade. If you want to be exact, you should use the code. You can type it here. Save the colors to your watches and you're good to go. If you want to be super hip and trendy, you can also Google color palette 2022, for example. And why 2022 and not 20? Because if you're planning to license your design, for example, you want to be creating patterns now that can be selected for collections coming out in 2 years. If you ever wondered why every store is filled with the same exact shade of yellow at the same time, these trend fortune tellers are the reason why. If you are designing stuff for print on demand like Printful, Redbubble, or Spoonflower, you can use this year's trendy colors since your products are gonna hit the virtual store instantly. Let me know if print on demand is a subject you'd like to see a video on. You can also create your own color palettes from your own photographs. I use this free app called Palettecam on my phone. You just download your image in the app, I drop the colors you think are important and tap on here. You can save the palette to your phone and copy the info.
I just found out there's also this super cool color palette app and website called Coolor. You should definitely check that one out too. You can, for example, copy-paste an image link from internet and get a color palette for that image. You can decide the amount of shades you want in your color palette. You can also see how people with different type of color blindness see the colors. And you get all the info you could possibly want about any color. You can see the color in luminance map and gradient. I'll put the link to the website down below so you can go and try it for yourself.
It can also be useful to imagine your ideal customer for the color combinations. That is what I did with my cloudberry pattern. I originally designed the pattern as a Christmas gift for my mom since she loves picking cloudberries. But later I decided to play around to create new versions of it. The striking red palette is designed for 52-year-old Janet. She is a real estate agent and she always wears dark red lipstick and high heels. She has loud laughter and she's very social and enjoys attending gallery openings. The baby blue version is for Maya, who is 34 years old and she works in the bird sanctuary. Her hobbies include swimming and surfing, and she loves traveling and writing and reading poetry. Molly is 21 years old and she studies history. She's obsessed with reading and she has a cat named Biscuit. Most often you can find Molly drinking green tea in her balcony garden. Colors can be full of personality and stories yet to be told. Feel free to get creative. There's one mistake I see quite often, but it's easy to not do it, is to use too many colors in the same design. I know it's tempting when you're working digitally since you can have all the colors in the world. But remember, less is more. And this is coming from a person who loves colors and colorful styles. If you're still working on your color confidence, I recommend first striping down your color palette. Or what do you think? Here's a comparison of a design I did in 2 colors, and here's another with 10 colors. Which one of these designs look more professional? You can comment down below. In most of my design, I play around with 3 to 5 colors. If you have done your pattern illustration by hand, like I have in this paint stain pattern I worked on the offset video, the process for creating another color variation is a little different. I'll show it in the Photoshop. I have the pattern design elements on one layer and the background color on another layer. To change the color on paint stains, I use adjustment layers. You can find them from the layers box here. Hue and saturation, for example, is a great one. You can also try color balance or selective color, for example. I made the adjustment layer a clipping mask with right mouse click and select, so that they would affect only the illustration layer and not the background, since I want to play with that separately. You can change all the colors at once or edit one color at a time, by choosing red for example. Then I just play around and explore to see what I can find. You might also want to use blending modes to get more organic color palette. I used Multiply. If you are working this way, it's advisable to be extra careful how your design looks up close. If you've digitally altered image a lot, there can be weird looking textures here and there. You can embrace them or try to fix them. Always test out that your new color version is still tiling perfectly. One more thing. The color on computer screen looks always a little different when printed. Since the screen is lit from inside, everything appears a little lighter on the screen than in the print. And the colors also differ on the different surfaces. If you're using a paper, on fabric, is it shiny, is it matte? The printing machine and technique also affects the color a lot. If you know that you're using the pattern only in one specific item, you should ask the color profile from the printer. Also, order sample color palettes and make test runs before making the final order. I have these samples from Spoonflower, and this is from the Printful cotton t-shirt. It's always a good idea to be sure you know how the colors will look in real life in the end product. But don't get too stressed, since lucky accidents can be also amazing. Only you know how the colors looked on your screen compared to the end product. If your customer loves the bag with your pattern on it, don't go out saying that the colors are all wrong. If she loves it just the way it is perfect. Just make sure to take presentable photographs and write accurate descriptions if you're selling the product online.
Thank you for watching. I hope you got some inspiration of how to use colors. If you did, please put a thumbs up and comment if you have extra tips on colors and how to use them. I'd love to hear them, and I think the whole community would love to hear them. Also, if you want to see more digital art tutorials and how to flourish in visual arts, be sure to subscribe and hit on the notification bell so you don't miss out when there is new videos. And I am Ellie. This was Ellie's illustration. Thank you so much for coming in. See you on the next one. Inspire and be inspired. Bye.